Hello, everyone. My name's Nick Pelham, and I'm your MC for today. We'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri and the Burong people of the Kulin Nation and pay our respects to elders past and present, and extend the respect to all Indigenous Australians present today. Welcome to our hybrid meeting, to those online and to those in the room. Thanks today will be given by Rotarian Ruth Carlos Martinez, followed by the loyal toast to be presented by President Chris. Please ensure your glass is charged.
Environmental protection. How involved is Rotary Melbourne? Saving the environment, or better said, going green, has been a hot topic, overlooked possibly due to its political nature. Climate change is about our planet, and the planet is about protecting our children's future. A Native American proverb says, "Man did not inherit the earth, but merely borrowed it from his grandchildren." Clearly, this means we need to save our earth so that our grandchildren have a chance to swim and enjoy nature's bounty. Protecting the environment is the 7th focus area of Rotary, and I am very pleased to say Melbourne Rotary's efforts have been and are still engaged holistically towards environmental issues. Let us continue to create the magic with initiatives that address environmental issues. Thank you.
Rotarians and guests, a toast to Australia and Rotary International. Australia and Rotary International. Members, visitors and guests, it is my pleasure to welcome you to our 44th meeting of this Rotary year and our 5,035th club meeting in our 103rd year. Welcome, everyone. It's good to be back here at 35. For those who weren't able to attend last week's historic meeting, our inaugural AI Summit at the Royal Society Victoria, I'm advised the video of that actually is now on our Rotary Melbourne YouTube channel. So make sure to take the time and have a look at that. Today's an important day in the club's calendar, highlighting of World Environment Day in recognition of Rotary's 7th area of focus, the environment, with our annual presentation of the club's Environment and Sustainability Award. We are very pleased to have as our special guest speaker Claire Moore, founder and CEO Sweet Justice and previous Rotary Award recipient. We are delighted that Claire has agreed to speak today and assist in making the presentation to our awardees, and will be more formally introduced later in the program. Claire is accompanied by her family, husband Paul, and children Hugh, Freya, and Ren Fogarty. Also here we have our 2022 award special commendation recipient, Manon Beauchamp-Tardieu. Manon, where are you? Hello, good to see you. Founder and managing director of Little Green Panda, compostable straws and cups. Please join me in making these special guests most welcome. Thank you. Our 2024 awardees are students from Star of the Sea College, environment captains Beth Mandil and Emily Jarvanen, here with their sustainability coordinator, Michelle Parkinson. We will be hearing from them later in the program. In the meantime, would you please acknowledge and make our guests welcome? Thank you. As a guest of the club, we have club member Ruth Carlos Martinez. Ruth, very well known to all of us, will be recognised with a Paul Harris for her efforts in the area of WASP projects, in particular in the Philippines, and is accompanied by Philippines Honorary Consul General Maria Lourdes Salguero. Also here is, thank you. Also here is Steve DeBono. Steve will shortly be admitted into the club as a corporate designee for Morgan Stanley. Please join me in making them welcome. Thank you. All right, let me run through the list of visiting Australian Rotarians. David Fernie from Pakenham. When I call your name, please stand up and we'll acknowledge you once we've read through all the names. David Fernie, Pakenham. Pam Dittmer, Port Phillip. Bruce Levitt, Conunara. Christine Zavod-Turak. Christine somewhere. Angela Murphy, Brisbane, and President-elect of the Rotary Club of Brisbane. Also, guests of Rotarians, Freya, Hugh, Wren, and Paul Fogarty, a guest of Quinn Scalzo, Tim Noonan, also guests of Quinn, Eddie Uzumku, Sally Andren, also guests of Quinn, and Ioana Petropoulou, guest of Barbara Yerondes. Welcome. Now we'll move to the induction. Would Steve DeBono come forward for induction into membership of the club? And I also call Steve's sponsor, past president, Robert Fisher, to introduce him to the club.
President Chris, members and guests, it gives me much pleasure to introduce for membership of Rotary Melbourne, Steve DeBono, who holds the position of Executive Director, Wealth Division at Morgan Stanley. He will have the classification of Investment Management, Corporate Designee, will be known in the club as Steve, and will be a member of Central 2 Group. I've had the pleasure of getting to know Steve for some 3 years, and he has visited the club several times to get a sense of what we're all about. As his Rotary mentor, I look forward to helping him settle in properly in ways that suit him best.
Steve is so familiar with the club that I remember him winning the raffle. So definitely the club is very endearing to him. I'll now read the induction charge. Steve DeBono as a designee for corporate member Morgan Stanley, Australia. We welcome you as a member to the Rotary Club of Melbourne. Today you enter a fellowship of 1.2 million members in 37,000 clubs in 221 countries, which embrace the internationality of Rotary. We believe that you have those personal qualities that will ensure our principles and organisation will be safe in your keeping. The Rotary badge you will receive in a moment and wear with pride indicates your commitment to the principles to which we aspire. We expect that as you wear this badge, you will become an ambassador from us to the community in which you live and work. And we ask that you convey our ideals and principles of service in your work and personal life. We look forward to you sharing with us as we pursue the Rotary ideal of service above self. With this expectation, I offer you the right hand of Rotary Fellowship and ask that members rise and join me in welcoming Steve to the membership of the club. And now I welcome Steve to briefly respond.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Robert, and everyone for accepting me into this fantastic club. Deeply honoured. I have had the pleasure of attending a few of these meetings in the past, and yeah, very honoured to be here as a member moving forward. We are very proud of our relationship at Morgan Stanley with Rotary, which has been had for many years, and we look forward to continuing that. And I look forward to getting to know everybody a lot better as a member as we go on as well. Thank you.
Moving now to the Paul Harris Fellow presentation. So the Paul Harris Fellow is named for Paul Harris, who founded Rotary with 3 business associates in Chicago in 1905 and was established in his honour in 1957 to support humanitarian and educational programs of the Rotary Foundation, funded, implemented and managed by Rotarians and Rotary clubs around the globe. It is a tradition of this club that the naming of a Paul Harris Fellow is based upon the contribution of individual members and deserving members of the community who practice the Rotary motto, service above self. Today, we recognise the efforts of Ruth Carlos Martinez as a Paul Harris Fellow. Ruth, would you please come up to the podium? I will read. Oh, here we go. We have a paper here. This is yours. I will read the citation. Ruth joined Rotary Melbourne on 28 June 2017 with the classification Business Development International after having been a member and president of Brighton Beach Rotary. She's a member of the Turak Group, Turak 2 Bayside Group, the International Programs Committee, and the Reflection Team. Ruth is also an honorary member of the Rotary Club of Lubang Island. Ruth has an extensive Rotary CV, serving as a charter member and chair of the District 9800 Rotary Australia World Community Service, or RORC's Water and Sanitation Group. While Ruth's projects are mainly in the Philippines, she has worked on projects in Thailand, Uganda, and Nepal. Working there as wherever the need is. She is a GSE team leader 2015-16 and is the only Australian recipient of the Lingkod sa Kapwa Filipino Award for her volunteer work in the Philippines. Ruth has been recognised by District 9800 and Rotary International and received the 2021 District Service Award. In 2018, she received the inaugural Zone 8 Humanitarian of the Year Award, as well as the Service Above Self Award. This is Rotary's highest honour and recognises a Rotarian who demonstrates Rotary's motto, Service Above Self, by volunteering their time and talents to help others. The award is internationally competitive and is granted to no more than 150 Rotarians worldwide and no more than one from each district each year. Much of Ruth's service is in water and sanitation projects, toilet blocks to tanks and water wells to wash stations. All her projects improve infrastructure and well-being with emphasis on sustainability. Ruth has worked tirelessly completing more than 100 major projects to improve lives and opportunities for countless Filipinos in her country of birth, especially in underprivileged and remote communities, and in other countries as well, with projects expenditures of many millions of dollars. At any given time, Ruth will be juggling 6 to 10 major and many minor projects on the ground and remotely, other several Philippines Rotary districts on behalf of the many clubs who support projects she has identified. Ruth embodies service above self, Filipino by birth, Australian by choice, for the future of her children. Ruth is highly respected by fellow Rotarians who are inspired by her selfless commitment, being motivated by her mother from the age 12 to make a difference for the impoverished. She expresses her values this way: we make a living by what we get, but it is through hard work and effort and willful tenacity to help the underprivileged that we make a life by what we give. And today our club honours her efforts, lifting her to a Paul Harris Fellow 8 Sapphire. Ruth, I present you your Paul Harris Rotary Fellow pin and citation, both symbols of your recognition today. Please join me in congratulating Ruth, and I now call her to respond to our club's work in the area of water projects. Thank you.
Thank you, President Chris, for the kind words, and Rotary Melbourne. I really appreciate the PHF acknowledgement in that this is not so much as an award I have achieved, what should I say this, but as a standard to hold against what I have yet to accomplish. I extend my appreciation firstly to the marginalized communities that gave us the opportunity to be of service. Last count, 12 provinces, 45 municipalities, 1,680 barangays or villages. Also, to the Philippine government, national and provincial, that provided and gave me the channels to serve the needy. To Rotary International Foundation, donations in kind, and Rotary Melbourne team members, the good cop, the team members, for the valued support in 20% projects I call the ATM aid to municipalities in healthcare, literacy, disaster aid, peacekeeping, environment, biodiversity protection, economic development, livelihood. With the 80% efforts towards water sanitation, hygiene. I recollect since 2009, we used renewable energy, solar and wind turbines in rehabilitations of schools' water systems, spring water source development, inclusive of dams, water reservoirs, pipeline distribution, to gravity feed to a water distribution network cluster to cluster villages. And we also applied biosand water filtration, water harvesting, recycling to protect the fresh watersheds. We built school toilet blocks. Thank you, Trevor and Peter, so much. We did crop propagation using sustainable agriculture. And also we got involved with coral reforestation in the West Philippine Sea. With this, we leveraged and reduced the effects of climate change and protected biodiversity. We empowered, saved lives, created the Rotary magic. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. It's just amazing to hear the breadth of application of water projects, not just within particular communities, but in coral environments, and how that then empowers a number of communities to move forward. Moving now to some notices. World Rotary Convention held last week in Singapore. Welcome back to our 6 Rotarians and their partners that attended the International Convention. An excellent report was provided by past President Robert in this week's bulletin. Annual appeal 2024, a reminder that the club's annual appeal is open and tax-deductible donations can be made via the Community Foundation. An email reminder will be circulated to all members this morning. If you haven't already, please consider supporting the activities and projects of our great club with a financial contribution. Now, today's business. Before I hand over our meeting to our chair of the day, Barbara Yorondays, I would like to thank the award team on their efforts in determining our 2024 award recipients. The team consisting of Chair Barbara Yorondays, past President Phil Endersby, and Sharon Johnson this year contacted each secondary school in Victoria, inviting them to apply. I also want to thank Barbara's staff member, Ioana Petropoulou, for extensive administrative help. Ioana, you're part of the deal as well, right? Because there's so much work involved. So congratulations. Please join me in thanking them in advance of the presentation.
Thank you, Chris. My name is Barbara Yorondays and I chair the Rotary Club of Melbourne 2024 Environmental Sustainability Award. So in 2021, Rotary ran its inaugural award, focusing on improving ecological sustainability. So previous awardees, Claire Moore, from Sweet Justice, who is here with us today, Phoebe Gardner and Alex Arnold from Bardi, and a specific commendation award was to Manon Bouchamp who is also with us here today from Green Panda. This year, the award is a little bit different, and we've decided to focus on tomorrow's leaders. The award is inspired by the need to take action to support the environment, being one of Rotary's 7 areas of focus. And this year, the award is focused on excellence environmental sustainability in secondary school-aged children who have made a significant contribution to the community. The award criteria was for the students to have worked on a project or developing a project that demonstrates leadership in sustainability and community engagement. And the purpose of the award was to inspire tomorrow's leaders to focus on environmental sustainability, demonstrate innovation and ideas, and create engagement to inspire other school children. And it's that creating engagement that we were really invested in when we were considering the award. The award is $3,000 grant to be paid to the school of the winning entrant and to be spent on environmental sustainability projects. So it's not for you personally, girls. All secondary schools in metropolitan Melbourne were invited to submit an application, and that was no mean feat, contacting every school in Melbourne. And we were really seeking applications that really address the criteria. We were very pleased that we received 16 applications, most of them outstanding. So we were confronted with this real issue of who do we select as a winner, or who do we recognise as the most worthy? So, and that was a dilemma. So I'm delighted to announce that our awardees today are, who are receiving the award is Star of the Sea College in Brighton and our two environmental club captains, Beth Mandil and Emily Javinen, and I hope I've pronounced those correctly, who are the sustainability captains, and the sustainability coordinator, Michelle Parkinson, are here to accept the award on the school's behalf. Thank you. So we're delighted to have you here. Now, their project under the heading of Waste and Circular Economy focuses on fast fashion, something very topical. Particularly working with Year 9 students at a very impressionable age. And the Year 9 students were also given the opportunity to take up a pledge to give up fast fashion. So the statistics, we're still waiting on the statistics to see if they've actually done that. Write to politicians asking for change and make social media posts. So very ambitious. I'm not sure how well you went with that. So Beth and Emily, through the Star of the Sea Sustainability Club, presented and coordinated and influenced the school and the wider community through education and organising a number of activities. Now, I won't go through all that because I'll give you girls something to talk about. But what impressed us most is that it feels like we've got a couple of young ladies who are future Rotarians. So we can start working on you. Firstly, I'd like to introduce Claire Moore. Claire will be presenting the award to you today. So in 2022, Rotary Club of Melbourne recognised Claire and her Sweet Justice enterprise with the Environmental Sustainability Award. The award came with some close mentoring from our past president, Quinn Skelzo, who is also here this afternoon. Claire and her dedication to beekeeping in the environment is a true local hero to our club. So we're all very proud that we've assisted you in this. Claire will talk a little bit more about her passion, but it shows in how she presents herself. And I was going to talk a little bit more about that, but I think that's for you to present. But we are very proud to have you as a previous awardee. Sweet Justice not only enhances a healthier environment by creating more beehives, but also provides a career path for young detainees in beekeeping. So that's our education program and looking to the future. Looking after health and well-being. Claire has had a number of awards, has been a recipient of a number of awards over the years, and including community and government recognition, and was a runner-up of the 2019 National Agri-Future Rural Women's Award after winning the Victorian round of the award. And in 2020, she was the recipient of the National Mentoring Scholarship from the Department of Prime Minister's Office and Cabinet for Women, and is a finalist in the 2021 Boosting Female Funders Initiative. So Claire's goal is to combine her skills with bee genetics, education and social enterprise into a collective focus which is centred on the Sweet Justice program. And I believe she's doing that very well. Claire, I would like to invite you to this podium, and I'd like to invite Beth and Emily to the podium.
Congratulations. It's my role to read the citation. Well done. And my apologies if I get your surnames wrong. I really am sorry. The Rotary Club of Melbourne Environmental Sustainability Award for 2024 recognises this distinguished service of Star of the Sea students Beth Mandeli and Emily Javinen. Did I get that close? And their teacher, sustainability coordinator, Michelle Parkinson, towards Rotary's international 7th area of focus, supporting the environment. Through this award, Rotary Melbourne recognises and applauds the students' willingness to put service above self with their important, inspiring and fun project to explore and expose the consequences of fast fashion. Beth and Emily, as the Star of the Sea Sustainability Club captains for 2023 and 2024, committed to inspiring and educating the school community towards achieving sustainability and social justice goals. Their focus has been on waste with a particular interest in fast fashion. Through awareness presentations to Year 9 students, information on the manipulation of consumers to increase consumption and the unethical and damaging effects on the environment of fast fashion choices. The aim was to positively influence students' retail consumption while they're on the cusp of having their own money and potentially making more purchases. Students were asked to take 1 of 4 actions after the presentation. Pledge to give up fast fashion. That's a pretty tough one. Make a poster outlining the facts about fast fashion's contributions to environmental damage. Write to politicians asking for change. And make social media posts. The 2023 project, named Throw Out Wasteful Habits, Not the Planet, targeted students, teachers and the school community to create awareness of the impacts on everyday actions on the environment. Sustainability Week in July 2023 was the culmination of many of these initiatives. The most popular and far-reaching action was a clothes swap, with the goal to introduce the circular economy and provide information on fast fashion alternatives, publicise environmental issues and empower students to consider their own actions to make a positive change for sustainability, reduce waste around campus and in homes, educate the community about recycling opportunities and provide easy access to recycle, and alter consumption patterns to reduce waste. Funds raised and surplus clothes have been donated to charitable organisations. We commend the students and leadership of Star of the Sea on their efforts for the environment and creating long-lasting awareness and consciousness.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Beth and this is Emily, as you've heard, and we are both Year 12 students at Star of the Sea and the past and present sustainability captains for the college. We would firstly like to give a very big thank you for selecting our school to receive this year's Rotary Melbourne Environmental Award amongst the numerous entries received. Star of the Sea is a Catholic school that has been educating secondary school students like us for 141 years since the Presentation Sisters founded our community in 1883.
Right now, Star is home to 1,200 students from year 7 to 12, and we recently had our lovely old senior building renovated to include new study and recreation place. The Environmental Club is a committee of dedicated students at Star, supported by our staff leader, Ms. Parkinson, and it is our role to organise and promote sustainability initiatives at our school. Our core group of members meet fortnightly, and we reach the broader community with our regular newsletter, daily school bulletin, and social media accounts.
Last year, our strategic focus was on waste, concentrating on how we could get other teenage peers to be interested in this issue. So we launched our fast fashion campaign, and we were so impressed with how well students and teachers engaged with the programs to learn more about how they can reduce their fashion footprint. We think one of our most important aspects of our work is empowering our peers to take an active role in working towards a shared, greener future, which includes getting involved in the wider community to counteract the impacts of waste on the planet we are inheriting. Power to make a difference begins with education. This is why our 2023 campaign began with an awareness program that started with education and led to activism, as Year 9 students were encouraged to write letters to MPs and make social media posts about their concerns. The program ended in a clothes swap, where students of all year levels were able to exchange second-hand clothes with each other to give old items new life. We had a very impressive turnout and swapped a total of 350 clothing pieces. With remaining clothes, we made reusable Christmas wreaths and donated good quality pieces to a local women's shelter. Ultimately, our goal has been to inspire change in the habits of students to break harmful cycles of waste that have been the status quo for so long, and carry these attitudes on to the next generation of land stewardship. Our work doesn't end with the clothes swap, though. Emily and Mrs. Parkinson have continued to take on the initiative this year which is why we're so grateful for your support in continuing to build the eco-consciousness of our community to be as strong as possible.
I just wanted to say thank you to Beth and Ms. Parkinson for everything you have done for getting the sustainability group to where it is today. You have both made it really easy for me to take over this year. Many of the initiatives in 2023 will continue to improve and guide us this year, with new members adding their own valuable input. For example, the Year 9 teachers felt the education component of last year's campaign was repeated this year, and the students ended up running their own exclusive to Year 9 clothes swap. The everyday focus on reducing waste through dedicated electrical recycling stations, nude food days, and Clean Up Australia beach days will continue. However, in 2024, the major focus is on improving the understanding of biodiversity at the school, including the role of bees to help with this. The club is looking for ways to increase green areas in the school grounds with a series of pot plants and vegetable patches being planted as part of a community garden. We hope that the funds from this award can be used to help establish an automatic irrigation in the vegetable patch and to build a much larger garden bed with Indigenous coastal plants following a biodiversity audit. We'll also use the funds to pay for several incursions, one of which continues last year's waste theme with a talk from the Marine Mammal Foundation about microplastics and the other about the centrality of bees in the food chain. Our dream is to have a beehive at the school one day. Ultimately, we think it would be wonderful to still have all the herbs needed by the food technology kitchen grown on site and some honey as well. Again, thank you for this amazing opportunity to enhance sustainability at our school grounds and the protection of the wider environment. This will have a great impact on us all.
Thank you, ladies. And we'd just like the opportunity, we've presented you with your citation. And of course, Chris has got a lovely check for the school.
Thank you, Bill. Because I actually hail from your area, I'm really excited. And also very excited to hear about the beehive. Claire, you mentioned that you move the most livestock around Australia in a certain time of the year. Have you ever had a situation where your beehives are stolen?
Not mine personally, but it happened.
It happened?
Before
Yeah, okay. Well, is there any way that that can be protected or helped? No? Okay.
So Pam was asking about whether they've had any beehives stolen, which Claire has responded yes, but they just can't do anything to protect that. So
Get stolen because we have a huge network to be able to provide more livestock.
So this has not happened to us yet, but it is actually a problem across the board for all beekeepers because so the question was, do beehives ever get stolen? And the answer to that is definitely yes, because we leave our beehives in national parks. We leave them, and at the moment, last season, Sweet Justice covered southern New South Wales all the way over to the South Australian border. We have to take our livestock and put them in places, potentially dangerous places, where people can come in and pick them up at any time. Also, you've got flooding risk and bushfires, like that. It is a constant threat for us. You can't really control it. You can't control other people. Although we do have, being Sweet Justice, a certain amount of protection.
if we don't have any more questions for today, I'd like to thank Claire and I'd like to thank Emily and Beth and Michelle for coming today and for receiving your awards. And all other visitors and guests who were here, and I haven't got the list of names, but Ruth and your partner and the awardees, Steve. Just a reminder that next week is our monthly evening meeting, is to be held on Tuesday, the 11th, so not on Wednesday this time, but on Tuesday at the Lyceum Club of Melbourne. And we'll be featuring an expert panel on the energy transition and social licence. So our panel will consist of members Professor Alan Finkel, who is the 8th Chief Scientist of Australia and Energy Advisor to the Government, Mary Barry, CEO and Founding Director of Circular Eco, and Professor Sarah Bryce, who is the Director of Institute and Infrastructure in the Infrastructure in Society, ANU. It'll be quite an informed and frank conversation, and we hope to see you there.